I started a drawing course because I want to get better at art fundamentals, so I don't get stuck just drawing faces in 3/4 perspective for the rest of my life, because it is gonna be really awkward working on my webcomic with only that skill. And so the course begins. Draw twisty boxes, draw twisty cylinders, ears. Nice, I can sorta do that now. Then noses, eyes, the face in general. Awesome! Man, am I looking forward to now learning about the anatomy of the rest of the human body! Oh, perspective, huh? Alright, so I place some vanishing points, draw a few boxes. 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, 3-point perspective, 4-point perspective, 5-point perspective. I get the gist, but I really want the readers to go, ugh. Brother, oops, sorry, wrong meme. But I really want the readers to go, nice, when the camera pans down my characters' faces rather than, what's that? So, let's move on, right? Surely it's time for some more anatomy classes now. Oh, there's an assignment. Draw a wall or another environment with some architecture. Okay, I'm gonna be real. I love looking at great architecture and environments in general. They can be awe-inspiring, tell a whole story all on their own, but man, doing that myself, that's super intimidating. I feel like with the human body, you have clear things to learn, clear goals you can try and hit. How to draw this part of the body, how that part, ranges of motions, etc, etc. Like, there are finite rules to learn, and even if something is hard, it's at least simple in essence. And eventually, you will get a good grasp of the important stuff, and then you get to have fun with it and break the rules properly if you want. But perspective, it seems so mathematical, which to some might be a good thing, but I'ma tell you, not to me. And while I already have a decent theoretical grasp of the basics of perspective, I also know that drawing a few shapes in isolation isn't the same as making good art in practice, you know? And environments? There is an infinite number of combination of shapes, sizes and colors, man. So when I saw the assignment telling me to draw a full background using proper perspective, I was about to skip forward. I then remembered that I didn't do this course just to do the fun parts. Eventually, I would have to put practice into the stuff, and so I opened a new vastly empty canvas and stared at it. Honestly, I almost closed it out for the day without having done a single thing to it, and I guess this is what the video is about. I figured I'm doing some world building for a webcomic already, and while things still shift around all the time and hardly anything is really set in stone yet, I'm at least pretty certain what the area is roughly supposed to be where the story begins. So, let's just use that, I guess. Yeah, the final design of this whole starting area will probably look very different, but at least now I have something to go off of for my studies, and more importantly, something I feel invested in that gives me motivation to actually finish the thing. Because I think that can be a huge help when it comes to practicing the art fundamentals that you either find boring or just hard and intimidating. Tell a story. That could be part of a project you want to work on, like in my case, or a story that is just bouncing around in your head, or a shower thought where you once again made up a weirdly specific scenario. Think of how you could use stuff like that for whatever art fundamental you want to work on. Don't like drawing hands? Use that one heroic fight scene you envisioned during your last shower, where you roundhouse kick the bad guy to save the day. But instead of people, everyone is a walking hand, I guess. So you draw a little image sequence of talking and butt-kicking hands. Can't draw faces in fisheye perspective, but want to? Pretend you're a little annoying fly circling your favorite character's head, so you just draw that character all annoyed from various angles as you fly around them like they smell of last week's leftovers you forgot under your bed. Intimidated by environments? What's an environment you care about that makes you feel something? Or that, if you could draw it, gave you some extra satisfaction after practice session is done? Draw that perhaps. So that's pretty much what I did, and it not only gave me a starting point for what I could use as a subject for my study, but it also made me actually want to finish the thing, despite it taking a long ass time and being really difficult for me. because now I've already got a first iteration of the design for the place for later on. Like a little head start for future me, creating that one environment for the story. You are welcome, future me. And so that is of course the time-lapse that you see in the background of this video. Basically, it's a desert town in the middle of nowhere that reveres this giant out-of-place tree that guards ancient secrets and also provides the town with really yummy and strangely nutritious fruit. I mean, you can't see much of the town or the fruits in this image, but I mostly wanted to focus on the huge size of the tree. The towers that frame the staircase and tree are kind of random shapes, but they gave me a little something to apply the perspective rules to, so that's what mainly mattered to me here. Oh, and yes, that entrance to the tree that you can see up the staircase does look a little sus, I know. I kinda just drew what I thought a more or less organic opening in a tree might look like, and I only much later realized what else this also looks like. So that will probably not stay like this for the final version. But I was kinda close to finishing the study piece, so I really didn't want to bother redoing it after I noticed. Which brings me to one more point I realized you probably want to be mindful of. If you choose a subject for a study piece that you care about, be careful to not spend too much time on it. In the end, it is just a piece to practice on. With this drawing, I wanted to redo big parts of the image eventually, mostly because I thought it's pretty boring design-wise, and also the image composition is not particularly great. But I think it's better to just do another piece another time. Just finish the thing to an acceptable level and take note of what didn't work so well and try to improve on that in the future. And yeah, this is the result. Overall, I think it's fine, nothing too crazy, but I am happy I dipped my toes into the waters of perspective and environments. A subject I really wanted to avoid at first. And hopefully that can be an icebreaker of sorts for me, you know? Less paralysis for the next empty canvas that stares at me, that needs to be filled with an environment and architecture and all that. So maybe my next studies can be more practical in nature, something that I don't necessarily have to care about a lot. Because as fun as it is to do study pieces that have some additional value beyond just being a practice piece to practice fundamentals, they do tend to take up more time, and caring about your practice pieces can also kind of pull you down if they turn out bad, which some of them just will. Sometimes what you worked on just looks bad, even if you worked long and hard on it. And that's okay, but it can be harder to move on to another task if you care so much. So I suppose that's one potential drawback of this whole approach, I suppose. But let me know what you think. Is there something you procrastinated on learning but eventually pushed through and got good at it? How did you approach it? Alright, thanks for watching.